So guys, today we'll be discussing about a deal we closed on last year. And the reason why I'm bringing this to you is because of the feedback I got from some investors. Like I always say, not every investor is your investor. Not all deal is meant for all of your investors. Some investors, they know exactly what they want and you just have to give them exactly what they want before they can invest. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because some people did not believe in it. But like I always tell people, you make money when you buy, not when you sell. We did a thorough due diligence on this deal, and that was why we were so sure about it. And regardless of the talks here and there or feedbacks, we knew that this was a good deal for us and it was going to be a cash cow. I want you to see what the deal looked like before we bought it and what the deal looks like now. So sit down, enjoy and relax. Waiting for the team to come on ground, I decided to talk with the property manager and to just confirm some things on the rent roll. So one of the things you want to do is to take everything with a pinch of salt. You don't want to just trust, but you need to trust but verify.
This is not good right here. You see how far this step is?
Yeah, why?
This is a huge trip hazard. This stair will have to completely be removed and redone.
Readjusted, yeah.
So you have it's 10 inches apart. You should have 10 inches apart. Your other step should be right here. But that's going to be too close to this one. So it would have to be raised up and put up to level here. That's what it needs to do. It's holding up, but it's not going to last long.
Okay. So the one you described upstairs is what we should do here?
Yes.
Okay.
See, all this?
It's cracking already.
Yeah.
Because it's concrete. So.
Yeah, and concrete, just keep this in mind. Concrete and concrete do not stick together.
Right.
We'll never do that.
We were talking with the electrician. I think they just changed this. They're not too old.
A lot of times when people have lending issues like this, we go back with what's called cool deck.
Most of the reports came out and all of them have issues. We have issues with the roof, we have issues with the plumbing, with the electrical, with everything. But the good part is, don't let anybody know. This is one of the ways we can negotiate our prices with the seller. Yes, this is day 4 of our preliminary due diligence and our final preliminary due diligence.
In Texas, our clay soils, when they get dry, they shrink. When they get wet, they swell.
Expand, yeah.
The dirty little secret is each time they shrink, there's a little molecular bonding that goes on that won't let them swell back up 100% when they rehydrate. The best way to combat that is to keep the moisture uniform around your foundation.
You see that vehicle? That is the Dallas Code Compliance Officer. So we took advantage of it to ask them if they could tell us if there were any compliance issue on the property. Initially he was reluctant, but later he said no, that there were no compliance issues, that they were before, but they've all come to code.
Most of these have walkways all the way around. That helps kind of hold some of that moisture closer to the foundation and helps keep that in a better state.
I'm happy we're having this conversation with you because we were not going to move forward if you did not give us the green light. Hello everyone, this is 2 weeks after we did the preliminary due diligence. We officially went under contract and we did the interior inspection and we looked for different issues. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the seller to renegotiate on his price. The property had improved. He was also able to litigate his taxes and the operations of the property improved. So it now made the property more valuable than when we started the process. Invariably, it was a win-win for both of us. The property has improved, but there's nothing wrong with us requesting for a little down. Right now, this is how the property looks compared to how it was when we got this property. And this is just the beginning because we are not done with our capex repair. So what exactly have we done on this property? We've painted the exterior, we've done a lot of interior renovation, we've changed the roofs, we've done some woodwork, we've painted the railings, and now what we want to also do is to do the parking lot. So we'll be doing the parking lot in 2 weeks, and we also do the laundry room. So the laundry room is not up to capacity, and we realized that most of our tenants are going outside to do their laundry. So there's really a need for it. So what we want to do is to revamp the entire laundry room and increase the income. I want to tell you one good news about this property. I'll be walking into the laundry room so you see the level at which it is. It is in a bad shape. So in 2 weeks or so, this entire laundry room is going to be revamped. The flooring, the laundry machine and all that. And we know that we'll get quite some amount on our other income. This will improve our income. So this is one of the reasons why we are doing it. And we've seen the need. We are not just doing it because we want to do it. We're doing it because we've been seeing a large number of tenants taking their laundry outside to wash. And that is money that we are losing. We don't want to leave anything on the table. We don't want to leave any meat on the table. We want to have it all. So that's why we'll be doing that one. Back to what I was saying. So we'll be doing the laundry room and the parking lot. And with that, we can take a break apart from some interior renovation, because for the interior renovation, it's going to be based on availability of the units for now. So anytime somebody leaves, we go in and check and see if it's a make ready or it's going to be a renovation. So right now, another thing we did that we're doing is the tenant quality and tenant profile. We are changing that because these are things you need to know when you're buying a property, because the seller wants the property stable. Because if the property is unstable, you might not be able to close with a Fannie Mae loan or an agency loan. You might need to close with a bridge loan. So because of that, they tend to put in every Tom, Dick and Harry kind of tenants. Tenants that don't fit the profile, or tenants that might not be able to pay your rent, or sometimes dummy tenants that will stay for 3 months and they will start owing you and you have to evict them. Right now, our occupancy is almost 90%. We took over this property when it was 94%. Because we were cleaning up the house, making the tenant profile like the way we would have wanted to be, we had to start clearing up tenants that are not paying, tenants that did not meet our criteria and all that. Do you know that we evicted more than 40 tenants? And that dropped our vacancy to about 70-something% after takeover. But we knew that these were things we were going to do because from our lease audits, we saw those issues. And we knew that it was going to take us about 3 to 6 months to do that housekeeping. Right now, we're almost at 90%. Now we're bringing in new tenants that fit our profile. And we are also renovating those units that those tenants are coming in. So we're doing both interior renovation and exterior renovation. You can see the properties looking way better than before. Our concentration was supposed to be on the curb appeal, not just the curb appeal. Another thing I forgot to mention, guys, we added another unit to this property. This is one of the things I like to do, is to add an additional unit. So let's go. Let me show you the additional unit. And we didn't just do that. The leasing office of the property before we bought it was disgusting. It had about 4 colors, pink, blue, purple, yellow, all in one office. If I were a tenant, there is no way on this earth I'm going to rent any unit on this property. So one thing you want to do is your first impression. Your first impression really matters. So we took that as our first priority. That was the first renovation we did. We had to revamp the entire leasing office. We created an additional unit because we had a redundant space that was not being maximized. We had to use it. I'm going to show it to you right away. So join me as we walk down to see the additional unit. Now, the bottom line is for you to set out your business plan and be sure that you're executing it. Like from the video, you saw that we've already started executing the business plan straight up. We've already started evicting bad tenants from there, because from the beginning we noticed that because the landlord, the owner, wanted to keep that place occupied, he was bringing anybody and everyone on that property. So the first thing we did was not just the exterior or the curb appeal of that property. Another thing we wanted to do was to also take out the bad tenant. We took out more than 40 tenants from that property, and right now the property's delinquency has gone down. As much as possible, you want to increase the income and reduce the expenses, and that was our major goal on that property. We closed on it in December. We had some challenges, truth be told. Let me tell you, one of the challenges we had interest rate issues. Like you can see from my previous videos, I've always talked about the macroeconomy effect on your deals. There are some things that we cannot just deal with. There are some things we can control, but we can create strategies to manage them. So one of them was the interest rate. We actually got this deal as an interest rate of let's say 6.3%, but at closing we closed at 6.8%. So doing underwriting, we ensured that we underwrote this deal at the beginning to 7%, so that it will give us wiggle rooms in case there are any changes. So down the line, we didn't close this deal until after 5 months due to some things that were not our fault. Before we closed, the interest rate had jumped. Remember that we discussed about the 10-year treasury and how that is determined. No one really knows how to determine a 10-year treasury. No one can be specific what will be interest rate next week, next year, in 2 years' time. But the thing about the 10-year treasury in this entire process is that it's based on expectation. That is how the economy is perceived. Is it growing or is it an inflation expectation? That is how it goes. I've discussed this in my previous video. If you've not watched it, this is the time for you to go out there. So the Fed decided to start reducing interest rate, I think in September last year. Why it was doing that? So many of us were excited said, and that the interest rate was going to drop. But guess what? While he was doing that, the 10-year treasury was going up. So it caught us in the midst of the entire treasury going up. Our interest rate went up. We didn't get the interest rate we needed to close on. Typically, that would have killed some deals. Some people will walk out of the deal at that point. But for us, because from the beginning we're very conservative, we wrote it at 7%. When that happened, although we wouldn't have preferred a 6.3% versus a 6.89%. So we had to go with the 6.89% to close on this deal. It was still under our underwriting estimates and all that. So we closed on this deal. So that was a challenge we had at closing. And immediately we closed, we decided to execute on our business plan. And right now, this is where we are. And you've seen the video of where we are in the entire process. And guess what? We just gave out distribution. This is just 3 months after we closed, and our investors have gotten their first distribution. And it's not rocket science. It's just because of what we did at the beginning. We made the right assumptions. We studied the market. We knew our business plan from the beginning, and we still executing. So currently our investors are going home already in 3 months, just 3 months in the deal, and they're already going home with money. So look at it. Even the shingles was recently changed. It's a flat roof and the side is shingles. We're able to change that. And we also fixed the gate. So people don't just drive into the property. You must have a code. So now it's more secured and very safe for people. Everything is looking a lot better than it was looking before. We did some things at the exterior. We just did some little woodwork to make it look appealing. First of all, because our first impression matters. So this is a new leasing office. Before now, like I said, it had 5 colors, rainbow colors, and we had to gut the entire office. We created this. You can see this is the restroom. It didn't have an accessible restroom for the handicapped. We had to do all that. This is where our leasing officer stays, and this is the property management office. This is our property manager. He's very busy right now. I would have loved to ask him some questions, but to give him some time. Like I said, first impression really, really matters. That is what you want to ensure. Good to see you again. Before you came, we did the before of how the leasing office looked like. It was terrible. It had about 5 colors and it was disgusting. Purple, yellow, pink, everything was in there. But right now, look at it. And I'm sure this has improved the quality of tenants that you're seeing here, right? And I also informed them that we did a lot of cleaning house. We evicted a lot of people, more than 40, right? More than 40 people, and we are filling in because I've been seeing the occupancy, and with time we'll get to 90%. Where are we right now?
Right now we're at 86.
86, yeah.
No, it's a little bit more than that.
Really? It has gone up? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I checked yesterday, it was
86.41, and then tomorrow we have we got 5 pre-lease, so we are 87.50, almost 88.
so
Well, surely by this
before the end of the month we'll get to 90 and above.
hopefully 92.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We leased 15 apartments this past month.
Really? 15 apartments? Wow, that'd be good.
There were 10 move-ins or 12, but we still in the process of moving this weekend.
How's collection be? Has it been challenging?
Collection has been and we did a lot of clean out, so
Yes. So it's better than before.
it's better than what is correct.
Okay. There was a tenant that was owing the previous owner for a long time. The one that went back to appeal. Who are we on that?
We get a court on the 30th
Good.
this month.
So we're going to evict him. Really? Okay.
We're gonna wait.
Of course. Do you mind if you show us the additional units? I want to show it to people what we did there. So far, so good. Has it been okay? Are there any
We
issues?
have a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. Nice.
The prices and
Yeah.
discounts that we have right now.
Yeah. So guys, sometimes for you to fully lease up, you might need to use some concessions, but not for too long. Just for a period of time.
We just try to get occupancy.
Yes, we use concessions to get occupancy up, especially when the occupancy is low. We do that, but after we get to stability, we suspend every form of concession. So concession can be a tool for you to attract tenants, but know when to stop. That is the key. So this is the additional unit that we did. I wish you saw it at the beginning. This was the former leasing office that the previous owner had, that had blue, rainbow, yellow, different colors here. So we decided to convert the space to an efficiency. So you can see we have everything here, new appliances. Remember in my former video, I said we like to use black appliances. This is the restroom and all that. Philippe, how much rent are we thinking of taking on this unit?
On this one,
Yeah. 1,200. Okay, you guys have reviewed it because that was what I agreed with, that 1,200. Yeah, so on this one we're getting 1,200. If you take away the expenses per unit, let's say 40% expense on this property, if that happens from 1,200, that means we are getting more than $600 on this property. And remember, when you are selling, you also get an additional unit added to your NOI. It increase the value of the property, and also you get an additional money because when we bought it, this unit wasn't there. So this unit is to be 184 including the office, but right now it's 184 excluding the office. So this is really massive. I hope this was good to you. You've seen the entire process from the due diligence stage. Now this is the most important stage in the entire process, operations. So it's not just for you to buy a property and take your hands off. It's also for you to manage it. And we can only do that with the help of a good property management company, good property manager like them. We've been working with them for a while now and they've been very efficient. So with them, they tend to do the hands-on, the everyday job, the operational work, the leasing and all that. But for what we do is to ensure that they're executing our business plan, because that's the most important part of the deal, to ensure that they're executing your business plan. And we do that by using KPIs, key performance indicators, to ensure that they are meeting our business plan. If you've not thought of starting your multifamily journey, I think you should. The economy now says it all. We are seeing things. There's a fear in the US that there might be recession. Right now, there's no formal say that there's a recession, but if there is, are you prepared for it? What exactly should you be doing before that time in preparation if there is recession? Remember, the 401k, the IRAs, the stock exchange market will not go unpunished. They will definitely feel the impact of it. With multifamily, history has told us that multifamily really strive during inflation and recession. The only effect on recession is that if you've been very aggressive on your rent projections, then you might be in trouble, because during recession, rents do not go high. Rather, we see it remaining the same or becoming flat. So if that is how you underwrote your deal, you were not so aggressive on your projection, then you should be able to weather the storm. So what I'm trying to say is that that is the current difference between investing in multifamily and investing in other assets. I call it multifamily versus others. That's the difference between you doing either one of them, multifamily or the other assets. If you've been investing in stock market, 401ks, IRA, you need to start diversifying, because the atmosphere, what is going on, might not be too good for your investment. You want to ensure that while that is going on, you are still doing well in other aspects. If you're interested in investing or starting your multifamily journey, all you need to do is to contact us, and definitely we have good deals in stock for you and you can be part of it as soon as possible. Thank you and have a wonderful day.